Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 504, Epic Battles and Team Dynamic, recorded live on September 17th, 2015. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I'm your host, Duststorm.
And I'm your other host, Haas.
And I'm Godzilla T.
And we are here with another episode covering some Halo news that we've missed over the past few weeks of us kind of being out of the loop on things, and then taking last week to catch up on some things over PAX and talking with Gus, which was awesome. If you guys haven't checked out episode 503 yet, definitely recommend it. Had a nice half-hour interview with Gus, and then had some of the folks over from RUL on to talk about our PAX experience, which was amazing and awesome. We also have a community guest with us tonight. He has been following us for quite some time now. So everyone, welcome Mending Mercy to the show. Welcome to Podtacular.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, it's good to be on here, man. I'm a huge fan of you guys, so this is an honor.
Oh, we're glad that you can make it out here. It's kind of rare nowadays that we actually have some community members on, but we figured it's a good time to do it, and we're kind of ramping up to Halo 5 launch, and we got quite a bit of news to cover, so having another little perspective in here might help generate some cool conversations. So
nice.
Hope you can help us out with some of that. But first things first, as we do with every new guest that we have on the show, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do in the Halo community, what's your interest in Halo, and how you got your start with Halo in the first place.
All right. Well, going all the way back to Halo CE, first time I played Halo, my uncle, he was actually a gamer back in the day, came over his house, never heard of Halo at all. We played the Halo CE multiplayer split screen, and it just blew my mind. It was sweet. Didn't even play the campaign or anything. He had some other friends over. From that point, I pretty much bugged my dad and said, look, I got to get an Xbox. I got to play this game, Halo. Ended up getting it for my Xbox for my birthday. And then, I mean, like my experience with playing the campaign just initially, just on the ship and trying to escape and the ship blowing up. I mean, at that point, as a kid, it literally... like, what is this? And so from that point, I had never played any Halo Online. I played Halo 2, was just strictly campaign, co-op with my brother. And then around Halo 3, I had got my own apartment, internet, and then that's when, played Halo 3 Online. It was amazing, loved it. Got into Halo 4. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I'm not a huge competitive guy, so I enjoyed it. The campaign as well. I had read the Forerunner trilogy, so it was something that I was already familiar with. And then at that point, around summer of 2013, I was just kind of looking for, I had started reading the books and was kind of looking for some deeper insight. And I was a big podcast listener, so I stumbled upon Podtacular. I forget how I came across you guys. So I've been a dedicated listener for about 2 years now. I used to save the podcast for my drives at the end of the week, and I would drive from my job back and forth. So that was something I look forward to every week, and found you guys on Twitter. And then just as far as the community and Halo, it just kind of started unraveling for me. So I'm fairly new to the Halo community. I'm still trying to find, my niche, but you guys have definitely been a help with assisting that and just really propelling my desire for Halo. So, that's kind of where it ends for me here. So really appreciate it.
I'm glad that you said that we've helped you instead of helping feed your addiction to Halo. So that's a good thing.
Well, it's been a healthy all right, that's good. A healthy process. Yeah.
So through all this stuff that's been more recent with Halo, since you said that you've really just recently gotten into the Halo community aspect, what is it about Halo now that really kind of keeps you in there, and really what part of the community do you relate with the most, whether it's like campaign, multiplayer, stuff like Spartan Ops, or is it some other stuff like the books?
Yeah, it's weird for me because I've actually been thinking about this a lot recently because, I really want to be someone that's in the community, and I really feel like I have my hands in a little bit of everything right now. Like, I love multiplayer, but I'm not, this great competitive guy. I love the campaign. I love the canon. I love the books. Even like Griff Ball. I jump into that. I watch that stuff here, and I love the cosplay. So it's a culmination of everything for me, man. I love all different aspects of it, and since I'm so new, it's just kind of like I've jumped into this collage, like this painting, and I'm just looking around and saying, where do I fit in here? So it's a lot. And I've said this before. It's like Halo and the community. It has something for everybody here. So once you step in, it's just a matter of just using what you have to contribute, or just finding where your place is. So it's just a little bit of everything for me.
Very nice. Well, it's definitely one of those things that I think everyone listening to this is probably in the same boat with you, that we all love Halo. So that's a good thing. As far as you said, you've kind of dabbled in Griffball. Is that kind of something that you've gained an interest in through some of the stuff that Griffball Hub does, or is that like?
Yeah, I've watched the streams and been on the forums and things like that.
Very
so
cool.
For me, it's just kind of diving in and seeing where I land. But yeah, I watch the streams fairly often, and try to check those guys out. And really, like, my thing now is just really supporting some of the things that I like right now. I know I've heard how the community is torn and it's not as big as it used to be. I wasn't around during that time. So, with me, I'm coming in and saying, well, let's band together. So for me, I'm looking around and just trying to support whatever I can support. So, once Halo 5 comes out, we're strong as a community. So that's my goal, is, just to really support.
Awesome. Well, thank you for supporting us and listening. And thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for taking time out of your day to
Thank you.
make it here. And Receptor 17 in the chat is like, yay, Griffball.
Yeah.
Yeah, very happy to hear that. So we're going to dive into a little bit of the news that we've missed over the past few weeks. There's some older stuff which we've kind of touched on already. We mentioned the rig a little bit last week during our PAX recap, but there's a lot more detail about that in the Bulletin episode 23. And then there was a community update that Bravo posted about it too. So make sure you go check that out on the Halo Waypoint blog. There's a few other things. If you guys are in here pre-stream, we normally stream any of the prominent videos or Halo bulletins as of latest release. And there's actually some pretty significant things that were included in this week's bulletin, one of which was a new arena map called Plaza, which is a lot more kind of cityscape with kind of like Chinatown feel map. So there's a lot of cool stuff in that. There hasn't been a community update with some details, but if you want a little more look into Plaza, which is a new arena map, then definitely go check out the bulletin. And there's also a little segment on the Hunter build that was shown off during Emerald City Comic-Con. And we're actually going to be having the 405th guys on episode 5. Let's see, this one's 504. So episode 506. So in 2 weeks, we're actually going to have them on to discuss what it's like making Halo armor, what it's like making the weapons, the kind of different materials that they use to make it, what's it like actually cosplaying with having to worry about staying hydrated and all the heat that you generate from walking around in thick suits. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Definitely should not miss that one. And also this week, we had Halo Last Light come out, which actually features some of the members of Blue Team. So if you have read some of the books in the past, then you'll remember that Fall of Reach actually introduced the Blue Team when they got abducted as kids. So there's a little bit of backstory already behind Linda, Kelly, and Fred, but we get a little bit more of present day, what they're kind of going through before the events of Halo 5. So definitely a recommended pickup. We're actually going to be talking about it next week on our show. It's going to be a little bit of spoiler territory because I know it'll be within kind of that 2-week window of the book coming out. So if you want to listen to next week's show, I highly recommend that you have read the book first because we will be talking spoilers out the wazoo. And you can pick that up in book form. You can pick that up in Audible form, audiobook, or you can pick that up in Kindle form as well. So, or ebook, whatever other ebook service you use. So definitely do that. But going into some of the other stuff that's more prominent for this week, we had 2 new videos that got released by 343. The first one was a cinematic look at Halo 5 Guardians. And even though the title is kind of pointing to the cutscene stuff, it's more a high-level overview of what the campaign is going to entail. So we basically get this idea that there's going to be these big epic worlds with these big epic battles with stuff with significant things that's going on within the Halo universe. But at the heart of the campaign, a lot of the focus is going to be on the dynamic between Blue Team and Fireteam Osiris. Now, we really don't know what the extent of how some of the big world things are going to affect the campaign, but it definitely seems like there's a lot more focus on the relationship between Fireteam Osiris and Blue Team. So what do you guys think about having that relationship kind of being the dominant thing over the larger overarching story of the Halo universe as it is?
Personally, I think it's a good idea. I mean, to have, if it's done correctly, and from what I've seen so far, it looks like it's going to be, a really good, intense story that fits into the universe, and they'll still be able to tell the bigger story of what's going on, outside of just what, Osiris and Blue Team are doing. I like the dynamic it looks like it's going to add to the game. And what's really going to be interesting is when the 2 teams really actually start interacting with each other, whether it be in battles or in conversation, however the story goes. Some people know the answer to that question. Other people don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be really interesting, especially knowing the personalities better now. Like we already pretty much have pretty good idea what Blue Team's attitudes and their personalities are like. Granted, Last Light's going to shed a lot more depth into that, but we've got Buck, we've got Tanaka, which we know a little bit about, not a whole lot. Then Vale, which we got to know, I'd say pretty well in Hunters in the Dark. And Locke is still the mystery character. We know more about him, but we don't really. The funny thing is we know more about his team members than we do him.
Very true.
And he's the one that had the movie.
Yeah.
and he's the lead character.
Oh man,
or one of the lead characters. But I think the interaction between the 2 teams is going to be something that will be remembered for a long time. And I think it's going to benefit the overall story.
I really feel like this is a more focused, like Avengers, right? We're going to have these 2 teams where, like in Avengers, it's all these individual characters. They each got their own movie. And then it just, at the end, it all comes together as one giant epic moment piece section. I mean, who knows? And just builds for the future where you're just, now you can't wait for these 2 to interact again together. Because, with any fire team, they may come together, separate down the future. I mean, we don't know where the story's going, but I think when people are finished with Halo 5 story, they cannot wait. They're going to be excited for each team's own set piece, but then they're going to be more excited for that next time Osiris and Blue Team have to interact with one another again, because it may be a rocky relationship, who knows, or it could be a great relationship, but seeing these interactions between the 2 of them together would be really exciting.
Yeah, I as far as like how 343 is leading with Osiris. I know initially during the marketing campaign, I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody's like, where's Chief? Where's Chief? But I think with all of these new characters coming in on Team Osiris, it's actually making me anticipate Blue Team even more. Just seeing how they're going to react to each other. I know once people read Last Light, they'll get a little bit more of Fred's personality. But for me, initially I wasn't really feeling Osiris too much, but the way they're introducing them, and with the cinematic trailer and just seeing them interact, I think that it's going to be one of those things where we'll actually come to we'll have a heart for the Osiris as well. So I think they're doing a really good job as far as introducing him to Halo 5, because I think anybody that's teamed up with Chief, we're gonna ride with them regardless. So as far as that, I think it's good.
I loved how in that cinematic trailer you kind of got a glimpse into everybody's personalities.
Yes,
you got to see the Buck quick, little joke. You got to see Tanaka smash through whatever it was. Was that a Banshee or some other ship? And just like, I'm cool. Don't even worry about it. She just kind of has like this reckless attitude. You get to see Vale she's like a silent killer.
She is.
Doesn't even have a word, but you just see her kick ass.
After I saw her take out those elites, I'm like, I'm more worried about her than Locke.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then you just see Locke. He's like this. I don't know how you guys feel. He reminds me of my uncle, who was just like an old hardened Marine that you don't even want to talk to him. You're just like, cool.
He has no depth.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing there. But the other three, you're like, how are all four of these people gonna interact throughout the story? Like, I can see how I'm gonna like the three of them, but Locke, I'm just kind of, come on, I need something from you. Don't be my uncle.
It's very interesting that you're using funny. Uncle as the comparison here, because it makes sense.
That's what I got.
Yeah, no, it
personal. Yeah, it's like, what is his motivation? It's like other than being a soldier with orders. It's like, what,
Yeah, there has to be something there.
Well, yeah. And,
like,
no
did
offense.
Master Chief not sign his comic book one day, or like what happened?
Well, and no offense to 343, but the Nightfall series just didn't do enough to show what Locke's character was, his backstory.
No,
and we've got a lot more behind Vale, Tanaka, and Buck.
I mean, maybe this is intentional. Maybe Locke is supposed to be a mystery. Master Chief, yeah, we had the old books, but he was still relatively a mystery until Halo 4 really kind of opened him up a lot more. So maybe they're trying to replace that aspect in the Halo games. I don't know. He's very confusing to me.
Well, I think one of the things that may trip us up about Locke is that with the Hunt the Truth campaign, which was a great marketing campaign, they pitted Chief against Locke, and I think it made everyone feel like, what is this vendetta he has against him? Like, what is this? And we haven't got that. So he was introduced with that, with that in mind as far as hunting Chief, but I don't know. I almost just think at the end of the day, he's just a Marine with orders. But with the campaign of the Hunt the Truth, or with the Locke versus Chief, the hero, so I don't know if that has made us read too much into it, or is that just fueling the mystery behind it? And that's the kind of thing that I get confused about sometimes.
I kind of hope they flesh out Locke in some way. Maybe in season 2 of Hunt the Truth, maybe we're gonna get something. I don't know, but I need to know more about Locke than what we have right now. It hasn't been there for him yet. I care about 7 out of the 8 characters, and the 8th character is a focal point to what we're about to be going on.
Yeah.
This adventure in 40 days. Like you got 40 days to make me hopefully care about this guy, or I'm really just going to want to skip those missions.
Well, I think through the gameplay, you will get to know more about Locke, and it might be intentional that they're kind of holding back on his backstory because he's such a focal character in the game. But I would still like to get a little bit more. And honestly, when Master Chief first showed up in Halo, nobody knew jack about it.
I was just about to say that there wasn't any backstory behind it, although the books did come out at the same time as the game. So you could have a backstory there.
But the common player, I mean...
Yeah, from the video game aspect, there was nothing.
But we've had the franchise now for over 10 years. We're going on 15 years. And it's matured to the point where you can't just have characters thrown in here without some kind of a firm background. It just doesn't fit with the universe anymore.
Yeah, you can't have major characters like Locke.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's... I hope they flesh him out at least a little bit more in the new Hunt the Truth series.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think that's going to lean more towards the Ben Giro side of things with Petra and continuing that storyline. Not to say
I'm hoping Locke is like intermixed within that.
Mm-hmm. 343, could you just like release it Sunday so we can actually start hearing this stuff?
Well, they have another, 13 days?
Tomorrow works. I get off work at 3:00. It'd be a nice little thing to listen to on the way home. There's a lot of questions up in the...
Yeah, there definitely is. My hunch on the Hunt of Truth is going to be next week. That's my hunch, especially with some of the more recent stuff that's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Twitter.
Yes, that Twitter. It's a very interesting Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
One which I still need to do a little bit of research behind. But yes, season 2 of Hunt the Truth is supposed to be starting up this month, and since there's 13 days left in the month, it's going to be pretty soon. I think this is going to be something because of how close it is to launch that we'll see going through after the game is released. That would be my guess, but there's still a lot of things up in the air on whether or not what the duration is going to be or who's even going to be in it. I mean, obviously Petra's going to be in it because she's the one carrying it along, but I mean, what we're going to get actually in the season, we don't know.
Anybody have the feeling... I've been kind of thinking about this. If Hunt the Truth is going to run through the release of Halo 5, we got Halo Wars in 2016. Could we maybe see a story expansion? Similar to what ODST may have been for Halo
5?
Yeah, I mean, I know they haven't said anything. They haven't even hinted at that. But if that runs through the story, people may really want to continue the story. And I don't know if they're going to want to wait. Well, now that they're on this 3-year dev cycle, I mean, maybe they want to use it to ploy people back into the comics and the extended lore. But I don't know if that will attract the same audience.
And that's what I was thinking. If they were gonna do like another Spartan Ops kind of deal, like they did with Halo 4.
Well, I'm sure they've got plans for other games other than Halo Wars 2 to release between.
Well, there was
Halo
the
5
leak,
and then whatever they're,
which we won't talk about.
Yeah. Between Halo 5 and then whatever they're going to call Halo 6 because they're not going to use numbers anymore.
Who says they're not going to use numbers?
They did.
Well, I know a lot of people are turning away from numbers, period. So
yeah, they made the statement that this I forget where it was, but this was going to be the last actual numbered Halo game. It would
put
be
my money on that.
Similar to be. It's whatever. That's what I heard them say. Now that's not saying that they can't change their mind, but they were trying to get away from the obvious sequel numbering system.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't blame them, because there's a lot of people that they want to play new games, and when you have a game that's called Halo 6, right off the bat, that's like, okay, well this is some story that's already been out there, and they won't even give it a second look.
Yeah.
But if they were to call this one Halo Guardians, somebody might say, well, okay, it's in the Halo universe, but is it a continuation or if it's something new?
So Chief's story is going to go on for a while. So I think that having numbered games for Chief's storyline until that dies out probably makes sense. I mean, maybe this will be the last Chief-focused Halo. We don't know.
But to get back to what I was saying, I'm sure they're going to have other games. I don't know if they're going to do something on the ODST scale. Because,
ODST was supposed to be just
an expansion.
Yeah,
and it turned out to be a full 8-hour campaign. Or 8 to 12 hour
playthrough.
Yeah, 8 to 12 hour, depending on what difficulty you're playing on. But I just don't see them going to that scale.
For Halo 5, I don't think so, because we look at their current content plan and they have the maps coming out. They have 15, 16 multiplayer maps coming out between the release of the game and June of next year, which that's a lot of content to already be working on. So unless they're starting to work on some additional thing after that, I don't think we're going to see anything added on in terms of story. Now, I'm a little curious because for Halo 4, we had the Spartan Ops, and for Halo 3 ODST, we had the Firefight. Halo Reach, we had Firefight. So I'm really curious if there's going to be that other game mode, possibly.
If you really think about Spartan Ops, as far as the gameplay, it was very, very repetitive. I mean, it didn't really have any depth. It was more so of the cutscenes and the extra story that they were telling that really was
that's true.
Was the meat of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it would make sense. I'm not saying it would be easy for them to do, but if they were wanting to have an extension to the story to maybe bridge some gaps, that would be the perfect way to do it. Give us some extra gameplay, repetitive or not, but still have a great story to tell. Because I thought that was a great move because the story was actually pretty good and it kind of pushed the story along very well.
Well, and because Warzone's the new big hotness too, that could be the replacement as well.
See, that's when they were talking about the new game mode. That's what I kind of thought they were talking about.
It very well
something
could be,
along the lines of Firefight or Spartan Ops.
Very true.
I would kind of hope there's something, but I mean, they've got a lot in the game as it is, especially with Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not there, it's probably not going to hurt my feelings a whole lot. But, I would like to see them have something in the game to kind of keep new content coming in other than just maps.
Especially for the people that really care about the lore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, there's the lore people that will buy the books. There's the lore people that will watch every movie, read all the comics, and play games that are coming out now that they somehow are tying to the lore and expanding on the lore. But then there's the people that they love the lore, but they don't love the lore that's not outside of the game or not, slammed right into their face that, the second they turn on their Xbox, they're not going to miss it. Every trailer has been right there. Hunt the Truth or, Team Chief, Team Lock. There's people that don't want to do more work than turn on their Xbox to get that story.
Well, there are people that just want to play the game and they get, they take whatever story is given to them in the game and they really don't want to go outside the game to go more in depth. And that's fine. For the first few years that I played Halo, I didn't read any of the books. I only started reading the books about 4 years ago.
I read the books because I had to write a paper in high school. And bam.
Nice.
There was Fall of Reach.
Very nice.
Yeah, Halo wasn't around when I was in high school. Nintendo was just barely around when I was in high school.
That's one of the points I was wanting to ask you guys is what is I wonder what 343's aim is. Because for me, from my perspective, there's a lot of things as far as like the community and like hunt the truth. Like there's certain things that I feel like you have to literally be connected to the community to get or be notified of to really get all of these things. There was like a diagram, I think they released it a couple months ago, that had, Halo 5 in the middle, and then it had all of these, like the books and the comics and the Hunt the Truth episodes that tied into it. And I wonder what their aim is, because just like Halo 4, like if I wouldn't have found the audiobooks on YouTube to listen to the, I know that's
No,
bad,
you didn't do that. That's illegal. You didn't find this on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
No,
it's not
I didn't.
his.
No,
it's not. It's not his fault. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I wouldn't have came across that, Halo 4 would have made no sense to me. So I wonder, what are they gonna do as far as to bridge those gaps? Because for me, I think that's very important that they're putting so much time and effort into telling all these stories, which eventually web into one, that the average consumer is going to be lost. I hear about a lot of things that happened in the past, and I've been playing Halo since Halo CE. I had no idea it was even there,
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm getting the vibe they're being a lot more cautious with their storytelling this time around. So you don't have to be the person that reads every book, but also a diagram like what they've released for Halo 5, that would have helped a lot of people in Halo 4. And, it wouldn't have fixed it, because even from what I understand, the people that read all those things prior to Halo 4, still there were a lot of holes. But I think they've kind of learned, just like with multiplayer. They've learned from their mistakes. It's growing pains, and now we're hopefully seeing what they've learned and what they've taken from the learning process that was Halo 4, and storytelling and the gameplay and how to tie all these things together. Because they have a big vision, and that's awesome. I love that they have this huge vision, but their first step was pretty rocky.
Definitely was for their storytelling, because Halo 4 was their first time that they ever wrote story for Halo in the games.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the multiplayer opportunity with Halo 4, and Halo CE Anniversary was kind of a backbone on Reach, so that really doesn't count. And then the multiplayer in Halo 2 Anniversary. The multiplayer itself was solid. It was just the foundations of the system that it was played on, which was not very up to par. For the most part, though, I think from what we've seen, the multiplayer is pretty solid. It's going back more to its roots with Halo 2. It kind of seems to be where the focus is.
I see a lot of Halo 1 there, personally. I do.
How so?
I don't know. With the weapons and how, like, the auto aim or lack thereof. Look at what they've shown off in competitive multiplayer so far. It's been pistol AR starts, and you switch to your pistol. I just see a lot of nods to the original Halo CE, and I see elements of Halo 2. I see elements of Halo 3, but I see a ton of nods to Halo 1 throughout the gameplay, throughout the map design, even.
I can kind of see what you're getting at, I think, with the whole AR pistol starts being one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's kind of a mix between a lot of different games. Obviously, you have weapons from pretty much every Halo game, it seems. No dual wielding.
Correct. I'm saying, like, how the weapons feel. Like, it's more the Halo 1, Halo 3 feel, not bullet registration. I'm talking just like how to aim and hit your opponent. And it is way more Halo 1. Where Halo 2, it's red, you're hitting them. There wasn't really a lead your shot in Halo 2 where there is in Halo 1 and Halo 3. And I see a lot more of that in Halo 5.
Okay. in a way, I guess, yeah, I haven't really thought about it in that context, but I can kind of see, I can see the Halo 3 relationship when you're talking about that. Halo 1, oh no, I'd have to go back and do Halo 1 again.
When Halo 5 comes out, maybe the day before Halo 5 comes out, play a couple multiplayer matches of Halo 1 and then hop into Halo 5 and just you'll kind of see it and feel it.
To me,
I really did both packs.
I mean, the whole thing just feels very different because of the fact that whenever you're going from like if you were to go from Halo 1 to Halo 5, the physics are completely different.
Correct. But where say I'm aiming felt very similar. How the maps kind of flow. Yes, there's all the Spartan abilities that definitely change things, but I see a lot of map nods there.
Halo CE in the Master Chief Collection doesn't play quite like it did on the original Xbox.
Well, either does Halo 2 or 3. I think Halo 4 is the only one that actually plays.
Halo 2 is pretty close, but there's a pretty big difference between Halo CE on original Xbox and Halo CE in the Master Chief Collection.
I felt that at launch. I don't feel that as much now. I still see it, but not.
Because in Halo CE, I never did have a problem with hit registration unless I was doing extremely long range with like a pistol. But when I was operating within the range of the weapon, I never really had a problem with that. Well, with the exception of the turrets, but they were designed to be that way. They just had such a wide pattern.
Crappy turrets.
Yeah. And in Halo 5, granted the hit registration was perfect. It didn't really matter what you used. And in some cases, it was almost too good, especially with like the assault rifle. So I can see where you're getting a comparison between that, but they still, even without just the abilities, the way things go or the way things play are still very different because the power on the weapons is different. And I think that's what a lot of people see.
There's a lot of things to consider going into Halo 5. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Lots of things.
It's going to be brain fry. But anyway, I can't wait to play it again.
Oh, there's lots of stuff that's going to be...
Give me.
Yeah. I got to attend a media event yesterday, and I will say that after playing as much Halo 5 as I played, I'm ready for the game to come out, because I will be just drowning or just draining hours into Halo 5. I can see it coming.
Yeah, I've already expressed my feelings on that one.
So I am very much ready for this game to be out. I am so ready. For as far as the other video that came out, we had a short little game cap video of Swords of Sanghelios, which, judging on the context of the mission, it seems like it's going to be the first Fireteam Osiris mission, if not the second one, or very early on, if it's something that you're trying to go find the Arbiter. So that is going to be pretty early on. I think you get a pretty good idea of how some of the campaign-specific stuff is going to act, especially when it comes to controlling your AI characters, your AI partners. I think this is the first time we've actually seen that system used to the extent that we saw it. So you can tell teammates to take certain pathways. You can point them to certain objectives, like targeting a specific enemy and having them take them out, or focus fire on them, or going and picking up a weapon, all that kind of stuff. So it seems like the system is very dynamic in what you can actually tell your squad mates to go do. And it looks very different. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays in game, but it seems like, because the whole thing about co-op is there usually hasn't been these well-defined roles for each character. So it's going to be very interesting to see how people go into campaign playing co-op with each other and having kind of those specific roles.
Yeah, I was I was wondering, like we keep hearing them say they built the game ground up for multiplayer, and looking at the gameplay from that video, I was wondering how. I mean, we all know the enemy AI in Halo is pretty good, but I was wondering how smart they are now because, if it's built from the ground up for co-op, I mean, there's so many different, ways to approach the game now, and I was wondering if you're telling half the squad to go over here and flank, flank left, you going right, will the AI just always pick up on that flank and it just always works every time, So I was wondering how advanced the AI has come since they've built this ground up for co-op. So I didn't see too much of that in the video, but just seeing, the distance between the squad and, just how they were working together to take out everything in that canyon was pretty cool.
So I think that's going to really rely on the dedicated servers. And I mean, we've had a lot of the AI get done computationally on the Xbox consoles themselves in the past. So being able to have that on dedicated servers, there's a lot more power there and a lot more calculations that can be done to make the AI look and act smarter. So I'm hoping that with dedicated servers now for everything, and this even goes for Warzone too, because that's all on dedicated servers and has the AI bosses in there, that we actually get a little more kind of clever AI. And maybe depending on difficulty for something like Legendary, you go into Legendary, you have AI that are pretty wicked smart that can outflank and outmaneuver, dodge stickies, try to anticipate what you're going to do given the weapons that they see that you have on you. There's a lot of different things that they could do with dedicated servers that they probably couldn't do running code just on an Xbox console. And this is the first time that they actually have the campaign or any AI control exclusively to Xbox One, because all the games that they've had in the past have all been Xbox original or Xbox 360 titles where the computational power has been limited. So this is the first time that we actually have, I'm going to use the term, true power of the Xbox One console and the Azure cloud service that runs Xbox One live to actually run the AI computations. So we could actually see a pretty significant upgrade to the AI code for a campaign and in turn Warzone.
No, I have no doubt there's going to be an upgrade to it. I'll be happy as long as we don't get Cat.
I'm really not worried about.
Well, she's dead, so yeah.
Okay,
R.I.P.
Cat's sister. But I'm with you. I really hope that your friendly AI's intelligence increases with difficulty to where they can actually be useful at the higher levels and not just have more health.
Yeah,
that's one thing in the Halo games in the past. Yeah, okay, you've got Marines that you can use, but they're stupid.
in games like Rainbow Six and from what I remember of Republic Commando, they actually became your AI companions became more effective. Now, when you're using that system that you're giving them the direction, you got to be smarter yourself too, especially if you're going to be pointing and directing.
Yep.
But I did find them to be more useful in taking down your enemies. Now you're the main player. You're going to be the one doing the lifting. I mean, I don't think AI should ever be a replacement for a human player in terms of skill and use. But because if I'm playing solo on Legendary, I want it to be more challenging than it is with four of my buddies. Because we've all done it. When you're running a campaign co-op, unless it's Halo 2 on Legendary, you pretty much can fly through that thing blindfolded. Now, I want it more challenging than that, but
no, I don't want the AI to be able
faster.
to complete the level for me.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to assist me, but I don't want to just be the guy in the back directing the AI. Oh, go kill this guy. No, go over here and kill this guy. I want them to, distract him so I can come up behind him. I don't want them on the level of, I don't want them on that level, but on the other fact, I don't want them to jump in front of me when I'm getting ready to shoot, or just willy-nilly run out into the middle of the field and get killed.
I think that's a qualm that every Halo campaign player has. So I'm going to take a guess that if there's a way 343 can manage to make that not happen, that they're going to try to put it in there, especially given that they're using the cloud to really power a lot of the campaign experience.
Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to playing with it.
I think we all are. I think we're all ready for it.
Definitely.
Was there anything else that stuck out in the gameplay video to you guys? I know there's a few good showings of the Spartan abilities, especially the ground pound.
Helios sure is pretty.
Yeah, that too.
Someone made mention that it was bluer than they thought it would be, and then I'm like, well, according to the books, it's mostly an ocean world. So, but anyway, as far as the gameplay, no, it looked the mechanics seemed to work really well. It looks like that, at least in campaign, the ground pound might actually be useful.
I think all these abilities people are going to find, especially as time goes on, how useful they are in all types of gameplay in Halo 5.
Well, I think in the beta, the real problem with ground pound was just the way they had the controls set.
I would agree.
But it looks like in the campaign, your little shortcut routes that you can Spartan charge through look to be pretty obvious. I mean, it's not like it has a blinking red sign above them, but it does look like it's going to be something that's easily picked out if you look for them. I mean, if you're just walking by and not paying any attention, yeah, you'll miss them. But if you start looking for the shortcuts, it looks like they'll be relatively easy to find. So that's nice.
Given that there's a lot of different routes that are going to be there, some are going to be pretty easy to find. Others, I would imagine, are going to be kind of hidden secrets. And given the fact that I think this was at either PAX or one of the other conventions that I was at this summer, they basically said that there are going to be hard to reach shortcuts that speedrunners are going to be able to use the heck out of whenever it comes to the campaign. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely going to be pathways that are wide out there in the open, kind of the one that they expect you to go in. But then there's going to be lots of other ones where if you really want to get through or past something, that if you look around, you'll be able to find some pretty sneaky pathways to wherever you need to go.
That's good.
I thought there was some pretty good showing of the Spartan charge to get through the walls, the ground pound, and then obviously the use of squad callouts. So as far as what you're going to be able to do in the campaign, I think the demo that they put out was a pretty good summary of all the different things that you can do in the campaign, and basically showing off that the Fireteam Osiris side of things with the Artemis tracking system and everything. I think that's a really good introduction to how the Halo 5 campaign is going to play. So if you guys haven't watched it yet, I definitely recommend watching it. They have it linked in one of their blog posts on their website, and it's also on their YouTube channel, so definitely go check it out.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed about that the gameplay video, and something that I just kind of imagined, just as far as like a scene, like most of the Halo games have pretty much been linear, back and forth, but with the new Spartan abilities, we have the ability to climb up to higher levels, and I hope that in certain moments in the campaign that we are forced to do certain things to where there's a squad on the ground and there's no way that they can take out an enemy, heavy fire, battle kind of conditions, to where we have to get up to a certain levels and use our different Spartan abilities and stuff. So usually in a lot of Halo campaigns, there's enemies up on ledges that we can't get. We can only fire at them. We can get up to those ledges and have a different vantage point. So I think that with the boards going vertical, going up and down, that is definitely gonna present a lot more fun gameplay for us.
I'm still waiting for the Still kind of curious to see how long it's going to take the first person to get out of one of the maps.
By climbing, like clambering out of one.
And clambering out of one, or finding the hole in the wall that they can go through.
That's funny. I can't wait to see that video.
Half the mission, for speed running. Because the speed running is as much planning as 343 has done in making fast routes. There is someone somewhere that's going to find a way to get on top of the rocks and just run through the mission. Or fly outside the map if they have a flying mission. It's just bound and determined to happen. I wonder how long it's going to take for that first one to show up.
I'm going to assume it's not going to be that long. I don't think it would actually take that long, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes. That's it for the 2 videos that came out. There's a couple other things that also came out. One is in the community update or the latest one, the one from last week. There is a little blurb on Last Light, since it obviously came out this week. A little bit in the Warzone rec level. So Bravo actually goes into a little more detail on how the rec levels work. So you actually earn rec levels as you play. So as you complete objectives, as you take out AI bosses, capture bases, take out enemy players and whatnot, you actually fill up your rec meter, and that's how you that's how you gain levels in order to unlock bigger and better things. Now, the actual regeneration of your rec levels is actually on a timer. And that's every 30 seconds you get one of those power hexagons. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but basically one rec level refill every 30 seconds. So if you want the big guns, which the max level is 9 that you can get to rec level, then you'll basically have to kind of wait a little while to get the big bad stuff. But even then, you can actually get some pretty good stuff at rec level 4 and 5. So by the time you actually play through one life, you probably have another 2 or 3 rec levels earned back up, and you can go and requisition some stuff. Basically, as you play through the game, depending on how well you do, is how quickly you'll unlock your next rec level, and then you regenerate your rec levels every 30 seconds, and it's one rec level at a time. And that's only in Warzone is the rec levels.
That's something I have to applaud them on, that they're making it very clear that the weapon modifications are only available in Warzone. Anything that can alter your gameplay only is available in Warzone. Because I remember when they first announced the requisition system, or the rec packs, and people went ballistic about it being an arena multiplayer. So I've got to give them props on how well they've been, communicating that, yes, those are available, but they're not going to be available in the arena gameplay.
That's something that they were continuing to stress yesterday too. That it's something that they've been battling with ever since they announced it back at E3.
I think there's just a big fear in
understandably too,
console games. And so they have to. I mean,
yeah.
And they're doing a bang up job, if you ask me. But then again, I think we're more the passionate fan base that is following this way closer than average Joe is, who is going to walk into a store on the 27th and be like, oh, Halo's out. But, it is an important message for them to continue to push, because the traditional Halo players do not want to see it interfere with their traditional gameplay. And they don't, even in Warzone, they don't want to see it be something that will break that experience for them.
And the sad part is, I've seen that particular argument kind of wane and go away. So they're doing their job. They're getting the information out there to where people are comfortable with the fact that, okay, this isn't going to affect what I like to do. But it's just, I really, really appreciate that they're being that vocal with that kind of stuff. And they've been pretty vocal with a lot of the stuff that they've changed in Halo 5, and that's good.
Yeah, they've definitely communicated way better this go around for the product that we are going to get. And sometimes, yeah, it's a big pill to swallow for some people, but at least we're not going to be going into this experience not knowing what to expect. And if that means I have to take some big pills along the way to make sure that I can be comfortable with the product that I'm going to be spending my money on, so be it. I can accept that.
I think they realized they kind of had to be a little more transparent and a little more out there in making sure certain things got across to the community because of just the reception from Halo 4 and the Master Chief Collection. No offense to them putting out the games, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast that's where the community ended up. A couple other notes on the requisition levels, though, before we kind of move on to a couple other last minute things, is you can also earn progress to your rec level by some of the stuff your other teammates do. So whenever your team captures bases, you can get rec level progression to that. You can also get it whenever your team takes out AI bosses, especially if you help contribute. Then there's medals that also contribute to progressing to your next rec level also. And there's a couple of new ones that they list out here too, like boss takedown, legendary takedown, and those are for taking out bosses. Then there's grunt kill, elite kill, night kill, warthog destroyed, scorpion destroyed, phaeton destroyed, base capture, and base defense. And those are some of the Warzone specific medals. But any of the medals that you get in game are also little added bonuses to helping you progress to your next rec level. And that's kind of the...
It sounds like you're going to be able to move through your rec level relatively quick. As long as it's not too quick.
If you're pretty active in the game, like if you're constantly engaging either AI bosses or enemy players or whatnot, you're going to go through your unlocking rec levels at a pretty steady rate. They said in the little write-up that most, like if you're doing pretty well in the match, it'll take about 12 or 13 minutes to get to rec level 9.
Yeah. And as long as people aren't getting there in the first 3 to 5 minutes of the game, I think that's fine.
Now you can bring rec cards into the match though, right?
Yeah, and that's actually a article that they just released as we started the show. So there's not too much that we've looked in depth, but judging from what I know that I can talk to based off what this article that has been written out, I can say a few things now. But yeah, so all the single-use rec cards, because rec cards are actually applicable to any game mode. So you have weapon skins, you have different armor pieces, you have assassination animations that you can use, you have...
Oh, that's nice.
You have stances that you can use for your little... Like, if you remember the stances from Halo 4, you have stances that you can use now. In Halo 5, you have different visors you can unlock, different emblems that you can unlock. And then the armor, of course, in Halo 5 is just specifically helmet and body. You don't have it to where it's arm piece, chest piece, leg piece, and all that stuff. So it's just the body armor and then the helmet. So you have those as well. And then you have a lot of the single-use items. And those are your weapons, your vehicles, your armor mod enhancements that you can have, and then your... weapon modifiers as well. So like the scopes, those are also, well, those aren't single-use items. Those are permanent items. But you have boosts and power-ups that you can use as well. So we'll probably talk a little bit more in depth on this one next week. We'll probably do a little short 20-minute segment before we hit into Last Light, just to go a little more in depth with this, since we haven't had a chance to go through it too much. But there's a lot of good information. There's actually a video that they attached to this post, which we haven't watched yet, obviously, because we started doing the podcast. But apparently it's done by Mr. Chief. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really cool to watch.
Man, when you said they have the animations for the assassinations, one of the things during the beta that I thought would be cool is, like, after you win a match, you have your squad there and they're like giving each other like high fives or something like that. I thought that would be really cool if you could like earn different animations. I think that would probably bring something that would be kind of cool. When you win a game, do some kind of funny, cool animation with your teammates. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That's something I hope I really. It's probably still in the game, but I would just as soon it not be there.
If they could pull the cut Halo 2 animation of flipping the bird, I would totally rock that.
The sprint animation.
I actually just seen that recently for the first time. I don't know where.
Well, it just came out recently.
I made a GIF out of it.
Yeah, it just recently was found.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was they had gotten into the code of Halo 2 and found that it was originally they had actually planned on sprint being in Halo 2, and it was part of the sprint animations.
Yeah, it was someone's cheeky way of saying, no, screw you to sprint.
Either that or to dual wielding, because it only worked when you were dual wielding.
Well, I thought it was just the dual wielding SMGs. Maybe.
Yeah, they're dual wielding SMGs, and you hit the sprint, whatever button you hit to sprint, and it would throw up the middle finger. So it could either be to sprint or to dual wielding SMGs at least. But I just that's a nice little twist.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
They would probably lose their teen rating for that.
Maybe. Though. Just maybe.
Just maybe. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Some of the other things I can hit off the top really quick here. All the permanent items obviously are all the permanent stuff that you get, which is both applicable to Warzone and Arena, of course, is the weapon skins, the armor pieces, the helmets, the visor colors, the emblems, the stances, and the assassinations. Also permanent to Warzone are loadout weapons. So you get those. You'll probably get those pretty quickly. But your loadout weapons is your DMR, your BR, your pistol, your AR, and I forget what the other one is that they had.
Light rifle?
No, light rifle's a power weapon.
They do have it as a power weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what I saw. Playing Warzone. There is a fifth weapon though, but you start out with the
DMR.
You start out with the AR pistol. You have those two unlocked at the very beginning, and then BR, DMR, and then there's another one that I don't remember at the moment. But anyways,
wouldn't be in it.
Huh?
No, I was gonna say it wouldn't be an SMG, would it?
That might be it actually. That might be it actually, to be honest. But yeah, so loadout weapons, armor mods, and certifications. Now, certifications are pretty cool. Once you unlock a certification, you are more likely to get those kinds of rec cards whenever you open a rec pack. Or rec...
Can you ever get the same rec pack twice?
Rec pack?
Or rec card? Like if I unlock the BR loadout.
Oh, no.
So it's like a gambling system.
So if you get a permanent rec card, you will never get that permanent rec card again. Okay. Like once you have it, you have it. There is no way to like
get it again.
Yeah,
and feel like you just wasted money buying another rec pack.
Like there would be no reason for you to get two of the same weapon skin after you've already unlocked it once.
Okay, I was just making sure you wouldn't, because in Madden they kind of have a similar thing in their Ultimate Team. You can buy these player packs, and you would get 10 of the same player, and
now
you can't use them both.
You can get multiple of the same, just like single-use cards. So like your weapons, your vehicles, and your boosts and power-ups. You can get multiples of those. But any of the permanent cards that you get, those, I mean, once you get it once, then you're set. You're not going to get them again.
Good.
A couple of little points on the rec cards, at least for some of the Warzone specific ones. If they are the single-use items, then they're going to have a level or energy cost, and that's your rec level. So it's like, I believe a ghost is like 4. So if you get a ghost rec card, then it'll have the number 4, saying that you have to be level 4 and have 4 energies in order to use that card. And another thing on the cards that you're going to see is the rarity of the cards. So there's 5 different levels. There's common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, and legendary. Obviously, common being the ones that you'll see the most often, and legendary being the hardest ones to get in the game. And the last thing that there is there's a little mythic status ribbon on some of the cards. So if you get like the Prophet's Bane or Linda's sniper rifle or something like that, then there's going to be a little mythic status ribbon on it saying that's really, really special.
And those aren't single use, are they? Because I would never use that.
Those are single use cards.
Oh, see, I just keep it.
I mean, feel free.
Until I get a duplicate.
It probably all depends on how much of a benefit it is to use that weapon.
Do we know how much the rec packs will cost?
I do, but I can't say anything about it.
Okay.
So the safe way to answer that question, Dust, is no.
Right.
I would imagine the rec packs are only going to cost a few dollars. I don't expect it to be. I don't expect it to be $5.
So the rec
$5 for 500.
Depending on
no, you don't. Well, I'm not sure about like buying real money, but you can. So you earn rec points as you play the game. So each one of the rec packs, like there's 3 kind of rec pack tiers. There's gold, silver, and bronze. And then you obviously have your promotional rec packs that you can get, and then there's a supply rec pack and a premium rec pack, or promotional stuff. So there's like you can get the gold, silver, and bronze rec packs by just spending the rec points that you get from playing the different game modes in Halo.
Game currency.
Yeah, but
I'm sure they're going to have an option where you can spend real money on them.
Oh yes, there is going to be.
That's what I was talking about.
Yes, well, they've already said that there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. And yeah, I thought that's what Mendicant was asking. How much real money would one of these cost?
Oh, I have no idea. And if I did, I couldn't tell you. Hey, like that for an answer.
There you go.
Okay.
That's good.
No, I don't know. Works just fine. Anyway, like I said, I can't see as far as the real world money. I can't imagine them being $5, depending on, how many packs you're buying at a time. A single pack, I can't see that they would be that expensive. The in-game currency, I'm sure in what you would think, it's probably going to be kind of expensive, but it may not be either. But we'll just have to wait and see, or wait until the embargo lifts.
Yep.
I think I'm probably just going to buy some. I mean, I know they were talking about how the money is going to help fund HCS. I mean, with them giving away all the DLC for free, I mean, like, what game does that nowadays? Especially in next gen. Like, I'm gonna buy some rec packs just to say thank you. Like, just to support, man, because that's huge. Because they could literally charge everybody for the DLC and clean up.
Yeah, I will buy a few. I won't go as crazy as some people will.
Just launch
and
with
I'm not saying any of them are actually on this podcast or in the chat. But no, I mean, I will buy some packs when I can, but my main source is probably going to be through gameplay, because that's something that kind of helps make it worth playing the game.
Yeah, you can earn it,
especially after you go through the campaign a few times and you really get to know it. It will kind of lose some of its luster. I mean, there's always, you can go out and explore and find stuff and things like that, and that'll keep most people busy for a while. But as the game ages, it will give you an incentive to come back and play the other content in the game, not just Warzone. So
yeah,
that's my long-term plan.
Cool. There's a couple other things left on the article. They talk about Spartan rank, commendations, and a couple other things regarding the rec packs, but we'll dive a little bit more into detail on that next week. or at least kind of wrap up some of the stuff that we didn't talk about. So we do have a submission to read. Actually, going through some of the other submissions, they're actually all application stuff. So obviously not going to read those out. But we do have a submission with a couple of questions for us to answer. This one comes from the Stein89. He says, I really enjoyed listening to your podcast since the summer before Halo 4. Thank you for the entertaining Halo discussions. My questions hopefully will bring up some fun discussion as we are eagerly looking forward to Halo 5. Number 1. On the podcast, many of you have said that Halo 4 was not your favorite Halo, but, in your opinion, is Halo 4 better than any other Halo games, namely CE 2 and 3? And his second question, based on what you have seen and experienced so far from Halo 5, where would you rank Halo 5 before launch among Halo 1 through 4? Thank you for considering my questions. Have a great day. So to answer his first question, in our opinion, is Halo 4 better than any of the other Halo games?
Are we sticking with just the FPS titles?
I would say yes.
Okay. No.
I'd have to say no as well.
I would have to say no. I can say for the multiplayer specifically, is there's a lot of imbalance because of the loadouts, because of the armor abilities, and because of the what's the thing that you call down? What is that called?
Ordnance.
Yes, ordnance. It creates a lot of imbalance in the multiplayer, and that was one of the things that turned a lot of people away from Halo 4 multiplayer matchmaking really quickly. It had a greater downfall than Reach did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I really need to say this. When I say I don't like Halo 4, I mean I don't like Halo 4 compared to the other Halos. Halo 4 was a good game at the wrong time with a few things that didn't make me want to keep playing it. Overall, it was a really good game. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I bought the collector's edition and the console for that matter. But it was the wrong first-person shooter at the wrong time, and it didn't live up to the expectations that the Halo name had on it. It's not the expectation 343 promoted or Microsoft promoted. It's the standard that we came to expect being Halo players. Halo Reach wasn't the best Halo, and I honestly put Halo Reach the only title right above Halo 4, and then you got the rest of them. But I personally just don't think Halo 4 lived up to the name that we wanted. And especially for the hype that Master Chief was back, it just kind of fell short of the expectations that we had going in. And it was a really competitive time. I mean, the best Call of Duty came out a week later, and that's really hard to compete with.
I would agree.
Don't take my answer the wrong way. I too do like the game. I enjoy playing it. It's one of the few multiplayers that I was actually decent at, and not because of ordnance or anything like that. It just the way it played, it worked with my play style. But just on the story side of things, my favorite story is Halo 2 into Halo 3. The original Halo 2 story, that's probably my favorite. But, it's right there with ODST and the original Halo. It's just really close for me. So, it's not the bottom of my pile. Reach was pretty depressing for me. The campaign I liked the campaign, but it wasn't my favorite campaign. And, I'm with Haas. I just don't believe Halo 4 lived up to the hype it was given. And granted, a lot of that hype was generated by the community itself, because everybody was pumped to be getting another Master Chief game. Because last anybody knew for sure that was going to be the last Master Chief game was Halo 3. So everybody was really pumped to be getting Halo 4. And a lot of the hype was generated by the community. But what was given to us just didn't live up to that. And that turned a lot of people off, along with the multiplayer. There's, looking back, there's 500 things they could have done differently. And it would have made probably a more successful launch for Halo 4. Anyway, that's my feelings on it.
Yeah. Mending, what about you? You haven't really spoken up to this one yet.
Yeah. Now, see, my perspective is a little different because you guys are, a little more competitive. As far as the campaigns, I would say Halo 4 will probably be last, just because of the Didact storyline was a little fuzzy. But as far as the multiplayer, I felt like when I got on the 360, that was probably the game that I was most successful with. I played that one probably the most out of all of the Halos, and it was just personally, that was just a time where I had a ton of time to play the multiplayer. So I played probably Halo 4 multiplayer more than any of the other ones. So, but as far as campaign, Halo 4 definitely at the bottom. Still a great game. Still loved it. But I as a casual player, I loved Halo 4. It's funny because I didn't realize it had so many issues until I started digging into the community, and I was like, wow. I thought it was pretty good. Right? So that's just from the casual standpoint, I actually enjoyed the multiplayer.
Interesting.
Yeah. From the casual standpoint, I definitely enjoyed it.
All right.
Yep.
Fair enough. And then his second question's based on what we've seen or experienced from Halo 5, how would we rank Halo 5 before launch?
That is a really tough one.
And see, this is one of the questions that I have wanted to get answered, because with me being new to the community, because with the campaign from Hunt the Truth and all of this stuff that's going on, it's amazing. Like I'm like, do they do this every time? Because I mean, I wasn't even around for the Halo 4 launch. Because when it came out, I got it. Did my thing. But this has been a separate experience in itself, and I don't think any other games really do this. I mean, so to get you guys' perspective on how it's been, before these games launch and comparison will be pretty interesting.
So I'm gonna say for me, and I wasn't around until Halo 3, so I'm kind of basing my judgment kind of on what I understand, or kind of based off my personal preference for games, having played them. I would put Halo 5 probably in my number 2, maybe number 3 slot. Halo 2 being kind of the one that's all the way up there at the top.
Okay, so this is based off what we've played. I think, personally...
Or seen.
Okay. For me, I think Halo 5 can take the top of the mountain for me. Now, I'm not saying it is at the top of the mountain, because right now, because it's an unreleased product and I haven't played the finished product, it's going to be a 2 or 3 from where we stand today. But seeing what's there and what they're trying to deliver, I think for a lot of communities and a lot of different corners of what people enjoy about Halo, I think Halo 5 could easily become a lot of people's favorite for new and old players. And Halo 1 is my number 1.
I'm probably right about with Haas. With what I know about the game so far, it looks like it will rank pretty high on my list. Whether it take the top or not, I can't tell you until I actually get my hands on it, but it's looking really promising.
Well, he's asking where would you rank it before launch. So,
I like I said, I would rank it towards the top with what I know now, but I can't give it a definite place until I play it. I'm sorry. I'd love to answer that question directly, but I can't.
Fair enough.
I'm one of those people. I like to have a good grasp on the information before I start saying yay or nay.
I think he's more so talking about the experience and everything leading up to it, not the actual gameplay or game.
I mean, if he's talking about the experience, Halo 3 takes it.
The experience would be
the launch experience. Yeah, Halo 3 would definitely be the biggest one. Yeah,
Halo 3 takes it as far as the amount of promotional material out there.
Yeah, all the marketing
stuff, like all the marketing stuff. Halo 3 takes it.
I'd say
they
probably,
still have not gotten close.
Yeah, I would say that if you're looking for launch specifically stuff, I would say the order's probably Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo, I don't know, Halo Reach and Halo 1's kind of a toss-up, and then Halo 4 is kind of
Halo
somewhere near
2
the
was the
bottom.
most special to me. Halo 3's was awesome, but Halo 2's,
Well, you had
like,
the
for
I
me,
Love Bees
personally,
and a couple of the other really cool
I Love
things.
Bees, and you had E3 when Joe Staten came on the stage and he had the anti-son of a bitch stick, and people just went nuts. You had the campaign demo 1 or 2 years prior to that. Like, for me, that was, oh my gosh. I this is super nerdy and super stupid and kind of embarrassing to admit, but when you watch the campaign demo and when you watch the multiplayer demo, I used to hold my controller and press the buttons just to see how it would feel as things were happening on the screen.
I can't say that I've ever done that.
Nerd.
I have watched them enough times that I could probably make the motions on the controller by memory. But like I said, when we're just talking about promotional material and the lead up to the launch of the game, I would definitely rank Halo 3 over Halo 5. But we still have 40 days to go on.
Gosh, that's right.
On that launch.
40 days on the nose.
We still got that 40 days. So there's a lot that can change in that 40 days, depending on what 343 chooses to do or what they've got lined up to do.
So
do you guys want to see any cinematic?
Because
I was going to say, do you guys want to see any cinematic on the blue team, or would you rather them just keep it for the game?
I would like them to keep that for the game release.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Keep that mystery for people.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't want to see anything that reveals any more story. I want teases to the story, like the Hunt the Truth, that gets people questioning and thinking about the story, but I don't want anything about the story to come out until people have it in their hands.
Yep.
And I mean, you're going to get those early copy people out there, and I mean, if you don't want the story spoiled, people, stay off social media for the week or two before release.
Oh yeah, don't be surprised if I go dark week and a half before that, because I want to experience the story. I don't want to know the ending before I get the game.
And I think, I mean, I'll watch all the multiplayer gameplay that comes out. I'm fine with, because I want to see that stuff. But for the campaign, I liked going into stories kind of blindfolded and not knowing what to expect. A big example of that is a lot of leaks came out for Arkham Knight, and when I played that campaign, holy cow, there were so many what the F just happened moments that, like, that's what I want. Especially on the story experience. I don't need everything spoiled for me.
I think the opening cinematic that they showed, that's enough. It's probably actually more. It's more than I actually wanted, but that's enough. That gets me to really want to play the game just on its own, without knowing all the rest of the stuff. That trailer right there was enough to make me want to buy the game.
Yeah, it teased just enough. It teased just enough of what you were going to experience when you had your hands on the game. It showed a little bit of character development. Perfect. Like, didn't reveal anything, I mean, outside of what Lasky was saying, but that was really all I needed.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, a couple other things to wrap up here on really quick. We've had a couple of tweet replies come out from Mr. Josh Holmes, and this was actually a little bit more last week than this week. So we're kind of catching up a little bit on that. But there were a few things that he replied to that are kind of interesting to note. First is that we are going to get some Halo 5 Forge information before the launch of the game. So I don't know when that's going to be out, but you guys can expect to see some of that at some point here before Halo 5. For matchmaking, there's going to be no voting or veto options. So going back to the Halo 2 style matchmaking is you pick a playlist, you get a game type and map, and you're stuck. You play.
Deal with it.
And that does not hurt my feelings at all.
I think that's going to make actually for a better matchmaking experience, because people aren't going to quit out as much. Because how many times are you going to quit out before you try to get a game type and map that you specifically want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there are going to be a lot of people that quit out because they
Let
didn't.
the quitting penalty cometh.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of there's going to be quit cooldowns, I'm sure.
The other side of that is how heavy the penalty is for quitting out of a lobby.
15 minutes.
And where because there's a magic number in there that they've got to give you enough time to. This is kind of all depends on if they have the automatic search on it again, like in Halo 2 and Halo 3, where if you just stayed in the lobby, it automatically starts searching again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to have to be a time in there where they give you the opportunity to leave the match if you want to leave.
I think once the lobby locks, you can't leave.
Right.
But if you're like, how Halo 2 had stage 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you got to stage 3, it was locked. Stage 4, it was showing you the map and the game type and the players you were about to play. That's what I want. Steps 1 and 2, searching, found, and before it locks, you can back out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh crap, I got to run to the bathroom, or honey's running in with groceries. Those moments happen. So have the window that's a reasonable window, like 15 seconds or so, and you're good.
Yep.
But on the other side of that is if you have to quit in the middle of the match, it's like.
So they understand
this is going to be a lot of touchy feely, and it's going to be nice to actually start seeing the system implemented.
There's always going to be little exceptions. There's going to be people that, and I think they're aware of that. Yeah, a one-time quit doesn't really mean much. I think it's going to be more along the lines of if you quit 2 or 3 times in a row, then you're going to get temp banned.
I think in Reach if you did it 4 times in a row,
5 times, I think.
4 or 5 times, they'd kick you out of matchmaking for 20 minutes.
Something like that. Yeah. There was a magic number of how many times you did it within a certain time frame, and if you did, then you would be matchmade banned for a certain amount of time. So,
but going back to the voting, no voting, I am happy that there's not a voting option. In Halo 3, when they brought in the veto, it was really evident very quickly it was a bad idea because the default maps, the default map that would show up after you vetoed got played a lot, and it got burned out. I got burned out on that map a lot.
what do you mean? The default map? It was different every single time for me.
Not me.
Really?
It would always wind up being a Slayer game type, either on Guardian or on what's the Epitaph.
I would get a lot of different ones.
Occasionally I'd get like a capture the flag or an oddball, but like 8 times out of 10, it would always be either Slayer on Guardian or Epitaph.
That sucks.
I get so tired of playing those maps.
Well, this will be a good way to kind of go back and really get to experience all the maps that we get in Arena.
That's what I want. I want something that I don't play the same map 4 times in a row.
And that's what we'll get. A couple other things that Josh mentioned is that there is going to be a theater mode. There is going to be Easter eggs in the campaign, and one of which being a giant soccer ball. And then the majority of the cutscenes and cinematics in the campaign are actually rendered real time in engine. I have a feeling that the one that we saw is probably a pre-render, but for the most part, the cutscenes are going to be in engine.
Well, the opening cinematic is probably going to be one of the longer cutscenes, so I could see where it would be pre-rendered.
Yeah. It's still in engine, but it's just pre-rendered.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what we have for tonight. Oh, one other thing is that Astro has gone ahead and released their Halo 5 themed A40s with the M80 headset mix amp to go along with it, similar Halo 5 themed. So if you are looking to pick that up, then definitely do so. You can get it over on Astro's site directly, or you can go through Amazon. We posted a link on our Twitter, and you can use that through our Amazon affiliate link to go grab some as well. There's actually, if you go through the Astro store, the Pax Prime 15 code still works, I believe, and you get 20% off in your purchase. So you can use that if you feel so inclined. And that will wrap things up. Thank you, Mending Mercy, for coming on the show. Thank you for being a supporter of Podtacular, and hopefully we'll have you on in the future sometime.
Definitely. I appreciate it, guys, and looking forward to the next time.
Awesome. Remember, guys, you can check us out on a bunch of different social media places. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, as we're recording live right now, and you will be wanting to pay particular attention to YouTube over the next maybe week or so. You might see some fancy dancy schmixy Halo 5 content that hasn't been seen anywhere else. So I would highly recommend going over to our YouTube channel, subscribing. And you can also check us out on iTunes, Zune Marketplace, or there's a couple other little podcast catchers that we're on out there too. Subscribe to us if you haven't already to download our shows whenever we post them. So go ahead and do that as well. Also, make sure you guys check out the Podcast Network. We are part of a network of gaming-specific podcasts that are pretty top-notch. So we are part of the podcast that is THEPODCAST.com, which has other shows like Critscast, which is a TF2 podcast, Guardian Radio, which is a Destiny podcast. There is the Learning Cliff, which is a EVE Online podcast. Then there's also Work in Progress and How to Murder Time as well. So make sure you go check out the Podcast Network. And if you're looking for some other shows just to listen to, or if those are some other games that you're interested in, then those are podcasts worth checking out. We do have some streaming events that go on throughout the week. If you are a Twitch person, we have Man Up Mondays, which is hosted by Mr. Hot Sauce. And then we have Fraggin' Fridays, which is hosted by Godzilla T. And those, so the Fraggin' Fridays starts at 8:30 on Friday, and then the Man Up Mondays is usually either 10:30 or 11, and both of those times are Eastern. And then our podcast, of course, is Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern as well. Next week, we will be talking about Last Light. It'll be our book discussion. And then the week after, we are having the guys on from the 405th to talk about everything that they do, from Halo costuming to cosplaying to attending conventions and all that good stuff. So make sure you stay subscribed and check us out. That'll be it for us tonight. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and keep on shining and earn your way to transcendence.